So this one is Cochrane 11, which is related to the motion graphs in atomic physics. The first question is actually related to atomic physics, and the question is: in a nuclear fusion reactor, a nucleus of a hydrogen 2 fuses with a nucleus of hydrogen 3 at an extremely high temperature. But this fusion reaction produces an isotope of element X and release a neutron as well. Explain why a very high temperature is needed when forcing the two nuclei together. So what is the reason why we need a very high temperature to fuse the two nuclei? Because when the temperature is high, the nucleus or the atom will move faster, and between the nucleus, as they are identical charges and like charges repel each other. So we have to overcome the repulsion between the two nuclei. That's why we need a high temperature. So you will mention high temperature, they will move faster. So we can overcome the repulsion between the two nuclei as the like charges repel each other. So high temperature, the nuclei will move faster and they can overcome the repulsion of nuclei because the like charges repel. Like identical charges or same type of the charges, they will repel each other. The second, we have to complete the equation for like using a nuclide notation, complete the equation. As I mentioned, it produces an element X. So, and a neutron is there. So there's an element X plus a neutron is there. Neutron is nucleon number 1, proton number is 0. Then because on the left hand side, the total sum on the left hand side and the right hand side should be equal. So at the top here, we have 2 plus 3, 5. So here we have 1, so it will be 4. And at the bottom, 1 plus 1, 2. So this 0, so this will be 2. Is it clear, this one?
Yes, sir.
The next one is a car of mass m is traveling along a straight horizontal road with a velocity v at time t equals to 0. The driver of a car sees an obstruction, like there's a so there's an obstruction on the road ahead of a car and applies a brake. The car does not begin to decelerate. What is meant by the deceleration? Deceleration means decrease in speed in a unit time. And suggests a reason why the car does not begin to decelerate the moment the driver sees the obstruction, and because he will take time to react. So why, like the driver take time to react? So he won't press the brake pedal. That's why the speed does not decrease instantly. Figure 1.1 is a distance time graph for a car at t is equals to 0. State the property of a distance time graph that correspond to the speed. So distance time graph, what represent the speed? The gradient represent the speed. And determine the initial speed. So we want to determine the speed in this part. Because the speed is not constant, speed is decreasing in the beginning, it is having, so the point where it is a straight, we can find the gradient of that part, or we can use the formula speed is distance over time only for straight line. So here 10 boxes equals to 20, so each box is representing 2. So this will be 22, 4 and 6, so this is 26. And here we have 1 and 2. So 10 boxes equals to 1, so each box is 0.1. So this is 1.2. So If you want to determine the speed here for a straight region distance, we can use a formula distance over time, or we can find the gradient. So the distance is 26 divided by 1.2. This will give us the speed at which this car is moving.